Good day to all of you, good people. Over the course of these past 6 years, fundamental human rights have been systematically and seriously violated, and these violations have occurred on a global scale. If even at this late stage we fail to highlight the absolute truth, to bring to light the horrific crimes committed during this period, and to thoroughly investigate, judge, and ultimately condemn those who premeditated them, it means that the entire human species will eventually disappear from this earth. There is a significant legal action currently underway in the Netherlands, and let's hope that it will be successful. I would have liked to see independent scientific researchers among the witnesses, like Lorena Diblasi and Marcela Sangorrín from Argentina, who detected at least 55 undeclared elements in the COVID-19 vaccines. I would like this trial to address the completely unregulated nanotechnology found in COVID-19 vaccines, the extensive use of advanced artificial intelligence systems to produce these so-called vaccines, a technology that was wholly unregulated at that particular time. We can only hope that there will be some serious discussion regarding Agenda 2030, whose ambitious objectives are also being achieved through the strategic use of advanced technologies like nanotechnology, biotechnology, and information technology, which paves the way for biodigital convergence, the transformation of man into a different state of being, namely into transhuman. The absolute truth is essential, nay, and the entire, complete truth. It is very important for medical doctors to start openly discussing not only the adverse effects of the protein spike, but also about the unregulated nanotechnology in the COVID vaccines, and to formally request an official analysis of these specific products, not only both of the mRNA vaccines, but also in the case of various other vaccines, because they all are known to contain nanotechnology. The COVID-19 pandemic was also a biological weapon, a calculated psychological attack on the human mind, because many of the symptoms were neurological in nature. And I truly believe it would have been entirely normal and expected for public health officials and medical researchers responsible for the well-being of the population to have also conducted comprehensive and rigorous toxicological investigations. They should have thoroughly investigated whether this specific disease is not also potentially caused by harmful chemical weapons, environmental toxins, or even sophisticated nanotechnological weapons. In my research, I recently came across a very detailed and revealing article which clearly demonstrates that the SARS-CoV virus alone would not be enough to create severe forms of the disease. COVID vaccines have a wide variety of adverse reactions, and neurological effects are among the most frequently reported. Polymerase chain reaction tests were specifically engineered in order to stimulate and irritate the deep nasal mucosa, where the sensitive peripheral nerve endings of the olfactory nerve are located. Through these breaches in the mucosa, nanoparticles, PM 2.5 particles that are in the air, yes, which these pollutants contaminate the surrounding air and eventually reach the brain by passing directly through the olfactory nerves. So pretty much everything that happened during the COVID period represents an attack on the human mind. At the 2024 Munich Security Conference, it is acknowledged that we are in a cognitive war waged through subconscious manipulation, but also through nanotechnology-type weapons. It is also acknowledged that people should be informed. Unfortunately, authorities and governments around the world are not doing their job. They are not informing. Furthermore, whenever there are individuals who attempt to inform and educate their fellow citizens about the truth, they are removed from their positions and subjected to investigations, which is exactly what happened to me and my professional colleagues when we tried to openly discuss these critical issues and raise public awareness, and organize the conferences in Romania, COVID-19 and Biodigital Convergence. Therefore, it is very important for all of us to get involved in the process of developing legislation regarding the subject of free will. Because free will during this period was violated. It was violated through deceptive cunning and psychological manipulation. And this is something that must never be allowed to happen again. There is a UN document that talks about military technologies like nanotechnology and artificial intelligence that can be used for dual purposes. And it is unfortunate that researchers in this field have also failed to adequately inform their fellow citizens. They are even afraid to speak out. These are fields that are heavily funded. There are very large interests involved. But we must defend ourselves, our future, and that of our children. We do not want transhuman children. We believe that the Almighty God created us in a state of perfection, and we do not need any form of human enhancement, exactly as it has been spoken of by thinkers like Ray Kurzweil, or the nanotechnologist Robert Freitas, or many others. It is essential that our free will is fully acknowledged and respected, and the UN should take into account that maybe not all of us want the rapid and profound transformation of our world, and quite a few of us want to be left behind. We do not all want these technologies in our bodies. This innovative new medicine is fundamentally based on advanced nanotechnology, and recently, in November 2025, a significant scientific article appeared. This article was published by researchers at MIT, stating that the development of a fully functional, non-invasive brain-computer interface has finally become a tangible reality for the world today. Through the use of extremely small and sophisticated micro-devices, the precise stimulation of specific groups of neurons, as well as the effective healing and management of various neurological conditions and psychiatric disorders, can now be successfully and reliably achieved. It is their firm belief that 3 billion people are currently suffering from neurological and psychiatric diseases. So they successfully managed. They deliberately engineer this problem in order to provide us with the solution. Namely, these technologies are considered non-invasive just because they are small. But through these technologies, people's minds will be monitored and controlled. So, good people, inform yourselves and fight for your future and that of your children. God help us.
Three billion people around the world suffer from different neurological diseases and mental illnesses. And drugs are mostly ineffective or have side effects. Though electrical stimulation of neurons is known to be a very promising modality, existing technologies are highly invasive. They require creating a hole in the skull and putting a centimeter scale probe in. That is associated with risks of infection, morbidity, and mortality. And because of the surgery-related invasiveness and $100,000 of brain surgery, those technologies are only limited to less than 1% of the patients. So people worldwide suffering from these devastating neurological conditions have impossible choices, either to go through this invasive brain surgery or live with these debilitating symptoms which drugs cannot fix. To overcome these challenges, we have built tiny electronic chips that can travel through the body fluids to autonomously implant in target brain regions and treat diseases which are even resistant to drugs. These electronics seamlessly integrate into the brain, forming unique brain-computer symbiosis and completely eliminate the need for surgery. To achieve this, we developed nanoelectronics at wafer scale and then lifted them off the substrate to create free-floating, subcellular-sized wireless electronic chips with record power conversion efficiency. Then we have attached these electronic chips with living biological cells to create unique cell electronics hybrids, which fuses the versatility of electronics with the biological prowess of living cells. These hybrids can be placed inside the body with a simple injection in the arms, and they can travel seamlessly through the body fluids without being attacked by the immune system. These hybrids enable the first demonstration of electronics which can even cross the intact blood-brain barrier and autonomously recognize a target disease region in the brain and self-implant there. These electronics provide precise electrical stimulation of the brain, enabling surgery-free brain-computer symbiosis for transcending humans beyond diseases and biological limitations. So now, it is possible to have an implant in a precise disease location in the brain with just a simple injection in the arms. While existing implants can cause massive destruction of brain tissue around it, our tiny nanoelectronic devices we have shown can co-live and coexist with the brain cells without causing any damage or toxic effects. Also, this is a very platform technology. This can be used to treat multiple brain disorders, starting from neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's to motor dysfunctions, paralysis, depression, to treating brain cancers as well as for curing blindness. Moreover, this technology is not just confined to the brain. It can be used for applications such as surgery-free and wireless pacemakers, or treating cancers or other organs of the body as well. Moreover, beyond treating diseases, it can be used for even healthy individuals. Just like we have wearables for all, we can even have implantables for healthy. It can be used for applications such as cognitive enhancement, for improving decision making, or even increasing our neural density through synthetic electronic neurons. So in our lab, we already have very promising results for treatment of diseases such as Alzheimer's, for brain cancer, as well as chronic pain, and have shown that electrical stimulation can halt the growth of brain tumor where existing therapies have failed. This can increase the survival chances of patients to about 85%. This can bring new ray of hope to the patients and their families. So just recently I got an email from a father who mentioned that his 10-year-old daughter has been diagnosed with GIPG. I get emails often like this from patients and their families. These are heartbreaking. So we are very committed to bring this technology to humans as soon as possible. So while existing technologies are only limited to less than 1% of the patients due to the surgery-related costs and invasiveness, by completely defying the need for surgery, we are breaking the barriers of age, health risks, and costs that are currently preventing millions from getting treatment. We envision a future which will be completely free from neural diseases and bring our technology to humans such that it is accessible to all for alleviating human suffering.
Images of the Comirnaty Pfizer vaccine. Vaccination 2 microscope. November 22, 2022. Images taken by Ricardo Delgado. Micro and nanoscale technological formations of graphene-based artificial patterns with self-assembling capabilities that interact with electromagnetic fields.
Empower translations. Translations for all humanity.